Hi, I'm Ted from Roarockit, and today I'm going to demonstrate different types of vacuum systems that we can use to veneer, vacuum veneer projects with. Today I've got an electric vacuum cleaner, which is very typical of something that would be in our shop or in your shop. We have an electric vacuum pump here that is again typical of somebody who wants to buy a system to vacuum veneer with. The thing about them is that they're fairly costly, $200 or $300 to go out and buy. And then we have our little hand pumps here. We have two different types that we can use. To have an understanding of vacuum, you have to understand what we're using. We're using air pressure to force veneers around a three-dimensional shape in an enclosed chamber. If I was at sea level, from sea level to outer space, if I had a square tube reaching from there to sea level, the amount of pressure in that square tube would be 14.9 pounds. So there's 14.9 pounds per square inch pressing all over our bodies or in a vacuum chamber, which allows us to do things like vacuum veneering with. And that's a good example, square tube. Because I'm 500 feet above sea level here in Toronto, it means the system will not be as efficient as if I was at sea level. The other consideration is the efficiency of the pump that we're using. An electric vacuum pump like this won't pull a pure 14.9 pounds of pressure at sea level. It's because it's not efficient. You can buy very, very expensive pumps that will get a little bit closer than that, to that 14.9 pounds. But you'd find it very difficult to find a commercial pump which is available to pull that much pressure. So I've set up a little test bed, vacuum bag. I have hoses that lead to a vacuum gauge here, and it's reading 0.2 right now on the vacuum gauge. As I apply pressure or vacuum into this chamber, what will happen is the gauge should start to increase, and you'll see that happen. The first that I will I'll show you is the vacuum cleaner. Vacuum cleaner is actually not a pump. What it is a blower, which means that inside the machine there is a fan, and the fan will produce an amount of vacuum. The problem with a vacuum cleaner is if you maintain constant vacuum with it by putting your hand over top of the hose, eventually the motor in the unit will get too hot, and there is a potential of it actually starting a fire or burning itself out. So you have to be somewhat careful with that when you're using this device, trying to pull a vacuum if that's what you wanted to do. I'm going to open up the little cap here so that I have access to the chamber. I've closed off the tube to the electric vacuum pump, and I'll turn this on and we'll just see what this thing can achieve. So as much as it would be really nice to be able to use a vacuum cleaner to do vacuum veneering with, is probably not the best solution, because 1.7, 1.8 pounds of pressure is definitely not enough to produce a vacuum. Now what I'll do is I'll unclip the clamp here to the electric pump. Okay. This up a little bit. I'll put our cap back on so it isolates it from outside, and I will pull a vacuum with the electric vacuum pump. see what happens. Okay, so instantly it's starting to throw a vacuum because it's relatively quick. But that's pretty good. That's 11.4. I've actually seen this type of pump, which is a diaphragm pump. There's different types of vacuum pumps. There's oil-fed pumps. You have to be very careful with a rotary vane oil-fed pump because what will happen is if you leave it continually to run like what we're doing with this, which actually can run overnight, no problem, with the one with oil in it, it can actually burn out and it can backfeed the oil back into your project. So you have to be very careful with more efficient pumps than what we have here. Okay, we're going to now demonstrate the hand pump. We have two versions of this hand pump. The larger one, which we call the super pump, it has a little bit more volume, okay, than what the little one does. Both basically do the same job, but I'll use the larger one because it's a little bit less work. Okay, so I've isolated the electric pump from the system. It's down at 0.2 or 0.02, and we'll see what we can achieve using the hand pump. Okay, that's about 12.5, which is great for any vacuum job that you want to do in a vacuum bag. I'm lucky today I actually pulled more vacuum than what the electric pump did. So this little hand pump is comparable to most electric systems that you would go out and buy. And that's a little lesson on different types of pumps that we have access to. The advantage of using the hand pump is once you've worked on your project, you can take it and put it up on a shelf, whereas if you've got an electric pump, sometimes it's got to continually run. Sometimes you can't put it up on a shelf because it's connected with hoses. So, and the other great thing is if you've got more than one of these bags, you can do multiple pressings using more than one bag by just using the hand pump. So all of those things are important if you want to be efficient doing vacuum veneering. Anyways, that's the lesson for today. And,